Hi, this is Forrest here in the Ciro shop. Today we're going to be putting on the Quill LED fairing lights. They come in both black and chrome. We're going to be putting the chrome on our bike here. First thing we're going to do is kind of set them on the bike and get them taped on where they belong. They really want to fit in one spot. If you kind of move them around a little bit, they're going to find a home that they really want to be in. You can kind of follow the contours of the bike and then maybe throw a piece of masking tape on there to hold it in place while you do the other one. And what we'll do is get them kind of fit up here so that they both look. You want to leave a little gap on the top here. That's going to make the curvature on the inside of the fairing match up correctly. And we want like them to be equal to the bottom of the fairing. And then we're gonna put one more piece of tape here just to hold this one in position too. There. That looks about the same. Looks the same up here. And what we're going to do is mark them so that when we remove everything, we find a spot that so we can remove the backing on the lights. Because we're going to be removing the fairing and drilling holes, we're going to take these back off and out of the way. So first we want to get it all marked up well here. All right, now we have everything just marked out here, and this tape isn't really holding anything on. It's just for reference. This is kind of a visual thing. You want to just make sure that everything looks correct. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the lights themselves off and out of the way so we can take the fairing off and drill the holes for the wires to run through. So you can see the video below as to how to take the fairing off. That'll be our next step. The next thing we're going to do is test the lights to make sure before we stick them on that everything works as it's supposed to. Plug them in here and okay, turn our bike on and do the signals. And we're good. So now we're good to stick the lights onto the bike. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is remove these two screws here, and up on the front here there's a couple of these little rubber protectors that are on the front of the tank. You'll take off and then remove the bolts from the tank. And you'll need an extra person. We're not going to lift it so far that you have to disconnect the fuel lines or anything like that. Get somebody to help you lift up the tank and kind of fish the wires right underneath. And we want to make sure that the brown goes on the right side and the purple on the left side as you're fishing them up through the fairing, to be able to make sure that that's where we want them to come up on the fairing itself. Okay, we're going to hook these up now. Again, the brown on the right and the purple here on the left. And then we'll be all set. These wires down in here. And then we can move to the front of the bike and start our installation up there. When we bring the wires up, we're going to fish them up and bring them up on each side here, just kind of bring them up through the fairing here and stub them up near the top here so that we can plug them into the light later on. If you have more than one set of lights you're planning on putting in, you're going to want to put in the Y connectors. They plug in right here to the end of the wires, one on each side. Again, they're color coded so that everything is correct. Okay, the first thing we're going to do now that we have the fairing off and on the table here is loosen these 4 bolts up a little bit, because they've got like a little keyhole area, so you can slide the vent right off without taking these bolts completely off. So you loosen everything up a little bit, and you just slide this off. And then we're going to go flip it back over so that we can drill the holes. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is mark and drill the holes in the fairing. We put tape on here and drew a line kind of from the bottom of these screws here, or screw holes, and drew it across. Once we've marked on the inside of those wires, the reason we're putting it on the inside, we're going to drill the holes for the grommets, and we want them to be on the flat, not up onto the edge here. So that's approximately where they're going to be. Okay, we've marked a drill with the 9/16 hole, or at the 9/16 level, and then we're just going to drill these holes here. Now these holes aren't really that imperative that they're exactly in one spot. We can there's a little bit of variance here. There's nothing underneath this fairing where this sits on the bike, so we really don't have any problems with where the wires are going to come through. So now that we've got our holes drilled, we're just going to feed the wire through that hole and get the light back into position and get it ready to be stuck on. I think we're okay there. We'll pull the adhesive here. And we want to line it up with our tape. And into position. There we go. Going to do the same thing to the other side. Feed the wire in. Get it into position. Incidentally, I cleaned the fairing before this shot with some ammonia cleaner. You want to make sure everything's clean and there's nothing that is going to affect the adhesion of the tape. Okay, we got the grommets in, we got the wires pulled through, we got the vent put on fairly loose, and now we're going to tighten it up and get the fairing back on the bike. We're going to get a friend to help us put the fairing back on, because it helps to have somebody hold on to it while we plug these plugs in. We've got to plug the headlight and both the wires for the signals back in. All right. Okay. Before we reassemble everything on the fairing, we're going to test the lights just to make sure they work one more time, make sure everything's plugged in correctly. That works good. The other side works good. And now we'll button up the fairing the rest of the way. Okay, we've got all the Quill lights put on. They look good. It was a simple install. Everything went well. If you have any other questions or concerns, or you want to see the rest of our lights, either go to Ciro3D.com or see your local Ciro dealer. This is Forrest in the Ciro shop. We'll see you down the road.